I went to Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago and I got to meet some fantastic cooks, but also some fantastic cookbook authors. And one of the people I met is Justin Fox. He wrote this fantastic cookbook with his wife, and we did a Skype interview. He's going to tell us all about, it seems like an oxymoron, but it's true. It's called The Southern Vegetarian. Take a listen. Tell us about The Southern Vegetarian.
Well, it's funny. We were at an event just last weekend, and we were making vegetarian muffalettas with roasted red pepper, and there's a line of people. And this guy walks by, just within earshot. He goes, "Southern vegetarian, that's an oxymoron." And I think that is a lot of people's initial reaction. But the truth is, if you think about Southern food originating in the garden, then it's really not such a stretch to think about all the bounty of the garden being pushed to the center of the plate, and having those things as a complete meal. We're not trying to take anyone's bacon away. We're not trying to convince the whole world to be vegetarians. What we want is for people to realize how delicious vegetables can be, make them, feed them to their family, and have a table where everybody can sit down together.
What makes it Southern, do you think? What, as opposed to picking up just a different vegetarian cookbook, I thought it was beautiful visually, and I think you guys have a sense of humor in when you give us a recipe instruction. But in your mind, how did we stay Southern with our vegetarian cookbook?
Well, I'm from Greenwood, Mississippi, and my wife is from Jackson, Mississippi. So we're from the Delta. That initially, I guess credibility. And we've lived our whole life here in Memphis, Tennessee. But what makes it Southern is it's a lot of the recipes that were handed down to us from our grandparents and from our parents, the stuff that we ate sitting around the table growing up. So it's very Memphis, sort of Mid-South centric, but we also branched out into the wide swing of what's considered the South. I mean, you go all the way to the Carolinas and Kentucky and Tennessee and all the way over to Texas. So we try and keep it focused on the South. That's not the only thing that we cook. So if you go to thechubbyvegetarian.com, you're going to find banh mi sandwiches and stir fries and all kinds of craziness. This is our family-focused, modern take on what we ate growing up.
So talk about your website a little bit, too. I loved it, The Chubby Vegetarian. You're kind of sort of turning vegetarianism on its side a little bit. You bring the Southern influence in, but then you also say this is, we can eat a lot of vegetarian food and be chubby, but you call yourself that, but I've met you. You're not chubby.
Well, to tell you the truth, when we started the blog in 2008, I weighed 265 pounds. Wow. I was a bigger boy than I am now, and my wife was about 30 pounds heavier than she is. What happened was, through the process of looking at, photographing, and writing down the things we were eating, we actually were able to find the wrong turns very easily. Let's say we were eating our broccoli, we were eating our salad, we were eating all the good stuff that they tell you to eat. However, we were putting too much cheese on top of it, maybe too much bread, too much of the bad things. So we were able to kind of look at what we were doing, make some changes, incorporate exercise into the thing. Since 2008, I've run 5 marathons and 2 triathlons, full Olympic-linked triathlons. My wife got into dance and yoga, and I've finally gotten her into running. She ran 3 miles with me for the first time just yesterday. Really excited for her.
And you've lost quite a bit of weight. You don't look to be the 265 you were when you started out.
No, ma'am.
He called me ma'am. It's definitely a Southerner we're talking to here. All right. So, again, visit the website. You can also link to the book from the website. Okay, so I loved this book. I love the recipes. And Justin was really, I guess generous would be the word. He spent some time with us. I picked a recipe, and he said it was, of course, one of his favorites too. But I want you to take a look at how he prepares this new twist on macaroni and cheese. It's butternut squash rotini mac and cheese. And Justin Fox Burks shows us how to make this fantastic twist on mac and cheese. What are you going to show us today from the cookbook?
today we're doing a butternut squash rotini mac and cheese. So in the South, it's hilarious. It's always been an inside joke with me and my friends. On the vegetable menu at every single restaurant, there's mac and cheese. So in the South, mac and cheese is a vegetable. In case you didn't know.
I think that's great. I was born in the wrong place.
So we decided to try and take it and actually make it a vegetable. Incorporate vegetables into the dish without losing anything. And I think what we've done is actually make a mac and cheese dish that's better than the original. Because what we're doing is we're incorporating an entire butternut squash into the recipe, along with garlic, panko breadcrumbs, fresh thyme, and also our little trick here. We've got some black truffle oil that we drizzle over the top. And I'm telling you, it is so, so good. If you're intimidated by butternut squash that you see in the store, don't be. They're very easy to break down. You just take the top and the bottom off, just like that. And if you have one of these, it's a great tool. It's a serrated peeler. Oh. So it's just like a regular vegetable peeler, but you'll see it has these little teeth on it. And they're usually solidly constructed, or more solidly constructed than a typical peeler. And you'll just run it down just like that. And you're going to take the whole skin off. Really easy. And once you get it to that point, cut it in half. Whoop. And half. You'll take the seeds out with a spoon, and you're good to go. It's as easy as that. You'll cube it up. It doesn't matter really how it looks at that point, because we're going to blend the whole thing in just a moment. So you get a big pot of pasta water going, and you cook the pasta in the water, and you have it at the ready. And then you'll cook the cubed up butternut squash along with garlic in that same water. So it's easy. You've got that one cooking method for two things. Then we're going to blend this butternut squash until it's smooth. And while we're doing that, we're going to make a bechamel. Anybody who's not made a bechamel at home, it's just about the easiest thing you could do, and it has 1,000,001 uses, not only in Southern food, but in French cooking as well. If you need to hold a sauce together or thicken a soup, a long-suffering bechamel is called a roux. We use it to make gumbo, and we get it real dark. And so we'll take that and put it in there. It's in every single mac and cheese recipe. So it's 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 cup of whole milk, and then 2 cups of shredded cheese of your choice. I love smoked Gouda in this. I think smoke in vegetarian food is so important. It gives it that savory something that always kind of feels like it's missing. And so while we don't try and recreate meat exactly, we do try and speak the language just a little bit.
I like that.
So we've got our pasta in here, and then we've got our blended butternut squash along with our bechamel. One great thing about blending the bechamel with the butternut squash is that it's not going to break. That butter and cheese and everything is going to be well incorporated into the butternut squash puree, and it's going to hold it together. And then all we do from there is add fresh thyme. This is 5 stems of fresh thyme. We're lucky we have a long growing season. I just pulled this right out of my garden. And if you've never used fresh thyme and you're intimidated about picking all the leaves off of this little thing, all you do is hold on to the top and run your fingers down it, just like that, and you're good to go. You're left with just a little bit. You can kind of pick those off if you want to. We add just a little bit of sherry vinegar. Vinegar is so important in cooking any sort of acid. So whether you're using vinegar or lemon juice, you have to have something to bring the palate, to open up the palate and sort of get it ready for the rest of the flavors. Sherry vinegar is great because it's got a little bit of sweetness and a lot of acidity, so you only need a little bit. Nutmeg, salt and pepper to taste. Then we just mix this up. It's going to look like a lot of sauce compared to a little bit of pasta, but when it bakes, it kind of thickens up just a little bit. Not the prettiest thing right now, but it will be. Then we put it in a 9x12 baking dish. And this is a great thing to bring to holiday parties. Believe it or not, my nieces and nephews who are so close to our hearts love this dish. I thought, when I put truffle oil in this, the kids are going to hate it. They were going back for seconds and thirds and just eating it up. I could not believe my eyes when I saw their plates heaping with this truffle oil mac and cheese. And then really lastly, all you have to do is drizzle a little of this truffle oil on there, a little or a lot, depending on your taste. It makes it so aromatic and so beautiful. Then you'll bake it for a few minutes, get the whole thing warmed through until the panko breadcrumbs are nice and toasty on top.
All right, so we do want to bake it in the oven for just a bit. You want to get this book to get the details. I'll also link to his website, but The Southern Vegetarian, chock full of fantastic ideas. More ideas when we come back for your fantastic holiday table.